Today is July 3rd. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey, and we're brought to you each and every day by Royal Banks of Missouri and Munganess St. Louis Acura. And Rammer, the Cardinals win last night. A lot of news and notes to go over from the game that was played out in Pittsburgh. Most importantly, though, now 4 games over 500 on the season. First time that they have been that many games over 500 since the 2022 season. They keep they keep climbing. For so long, it was let's just get to 500, and now we can start that ascent and just see how much we can go, how much higher we can go.
Yeah, and it can be a mistake to look past the game you're playing today. But, you look to get to 5, and then your goal's got to be 10 games over. And you just got to keep grinding and set those little goals. But really, for a team that has flaws like the Cardinals do, you do focus on tonight's game and then go from there.
The big thing last night, Nolan Gorman with the grand slam early in the game, and for a guy that I think, not only did you and I talk about him at length yesterday on the show, but Claibs and I talked about him a whole lot yesterday too during the lunch show, and just talking about how he needed to get going, and talking about the thought of sending him down to Memphis at some point. I know it's just one hit, one home run, but that was a big one, and I'm sure he was just as relieved as many Cardinal fans when it cleared the wall.
Okay, I think seriously, there's a lot to unpack there. I agree with your statement about one swing doesn't change the overall big picture. You got to give, if you think you figured something out, or sometimes, as a player, Joe, that sometimes just one little thing can kind of flip the switch. So let's see if it has flipped. He's got a lot of work to do to end up with a respectable season, but not unlike Goldschmidt, not unlike Arenado. Give me 3 good months and it'll all work out in the end. If this was a singular moment and we go back to striking out twice a game every night, then it is just a really nice moment.
Yeah, first grand slam of the season for the Cardinals, by the way. Didn't realize that until Chip Carey said that on the TV broadcast. Was something I really wasn't following that closely, or I think really matters in the long run with it. But probably, I would love to look back and see how many times it has taken until July for a Cardinal team to hit that first grand slam of the year. It's we're past the midway point of the season for something like that to happen. Just hadn't occurred yet until this point. So
yeah, a little
that
bit
was
of
that was a first for 2024. Ryan Helsley picks up the save last night, number 31 on the season. And with that, breaks Lee Smith's record of most consecutive saves by the All-Star break with 31 consecutive. I think they were saying last night on the broadcast, the last guy that had a streak this long of consecutive saves, I think they said it was a couple years ago. It was Josh Hader when he was with the Brewers. I can't remember if they said 32 or 34 consecutive saves. That's the last time somebody had been this high with that. Just kind of goes to show you how hard a closer job is in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. And my thing with Helsley is, and look, I appreciate the scribes and other guys like us. You got to have something to talk about. And so I'm not mad at anybody or not trying to say other people are wrong, but it's like, hey, we discovered, but nobody discovered anything. He's made himself available. And then somebody wrote about, they discovered, one inning saves rather than multiple. Well, yeah, of course. It's been that way. It's been that way since the late 80s. Look at Dennis Eckersley. This is not new. Yeah. So, but look, everybody's got something to write about. One of the problems last year, Helsley was not available. And did they overextend him sometimes because they didn't trust very many other guys in the bullpen? Absolutely. That stuff happens. But if you got a closer and you use them only in closing situations, you're going to get more in the long run, I believe. Now, if you don't have a deep enough bullpen and you don't use him in the eighth, you may never get to him. So there's the conundrum for a manager.
Yeah, and every pitcher, every arm is built different. I think coming to the realization that Ryan Helsley is not made to be a multi-inning guy or a 4-out guy says a lot, because in those situations there are pitchers who can't come in, get that one out, then go sit down for 10, 15 minutes without throwing a pitch and come back again. The velocity is down, the control is lost. There are certain guys that just aren't made up that way. And then there are guys that can go out there a couple times a week and give you 4 or 5 outs and do that with no problem. It's at this point in a career and with the human body, that's just not something you're going to learn or be able to adapt to.
Right. So again, I appreciate everybody writing and yakking about this marvelous discovery. It's just logic, and it made sense, and it's helped him be an effective closer. As you know, I've said many times, ERAs and strikeout walk, the things that I really look at, don't apply to closers. You either got the save or you blew the save. That's all that matters, and he's not blowing saves.
Cardinals and Pirates go again tonight, 5:40 start time. Lineups are out for the game tonight. Miles Michaelis against Jared Jones this evening. And here are what the lineups look like. Mason Wynn leads off and plays short. Alec Burleson is in right. Wilson Contreras is behind the plate. Paul Goldschmidt at first. Brendan Donovan in left. Nolan Arenado at third. Brandon Crawford DHs tonight. Nolan Gorman is at second. And Michael Ciani is in center field. For the Pirates, Andrew McCutchen leads off in DHs. Brian Reynolds is in left. O'Neill Cruz plays short. Edward Olivares is in right. Rowdy Tellez at first. Nick Gonzalez at second. Ke'Bryan Hayes at third. Joey Bart is behind the plate, and Jack Sawinski is in center field. Rammer, I caught that. I heard when I mentioned Brandon Crawford DHing tonight. You said, what are your thoughts on him being the DH?
I'm a little bit surprised, and I'd have to look at his pitcher versus hitter numbers. Because Carpenter's actually done an okay job. It could be something despite what the numbers say. Hey, let's give Brandon a game. Try and keep his bat on time. When you're down at the bottom of the order, that stuff doesn't matter. My thing about the lineup is I still think if it were me, I'd have Donovan 2 and Burleson 4, dropping Goldschmidt to 5. But Goldie's swing the last few days has looked a little better. Multiple hit game. We talked about the calendar turning. Has it turned for Gorman? I wonder. And actually, more importantly, has it turned for Goldschmidt?
I can tell you this. I just looked up the numbers. Not a single player on the entire Cardinal roster has ever faced Jared Jones before.
Yeah. So let's give Crawford some at-bats. It doesn't matter to me.
I
was just a little bit surprised by it.
Yeah, and going into this too, before I even read the lineups, I was kind of wondering, when's the last time Mason Wynn had a day off? When's the last time Brandon Crawford was at short? I feel like since Mason Wynn has taken over that leadoff role, there was, I think, one game early on where they dropped him back down and they had Donovan lead off. But since then, it has been Mason Wynn every single day. And it kind of seems as if they're saying, hey, you're our leadoff guy. You're our everyday guy. We don't have another guy that can lead off, so you're going to be there every day. So we've seen Brandon Crawford play third base twice now in recent weeks. So, yeah, I think it is a case of, okay, we need to find you at bats. You're probably not going to play a whole lot of shortstop for us. I would imagine they have a doubleheader coming up this or next Saturday. He's probably going to start at short, maybe one of those 2 days, maybe. But there probably aren't a whole lot of starts at short between now and the All-Star break for Brandon Crawford.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about Wynn is since he's taken over the leadoff spot, as predicted on this very show, that he has had a few days that were head scratchers until you find out, no, we wanted to do it to make sure that he doesn't get that back going south again. Looks like he's grinding a little bit now, which tells me his back is feeling pretty good. That's good for him. And if it's good for him, it's good for the ball club.
We mentioned a few other news and notes. It was announced earlier today. Ryan Helsley named your reliever of the month for the month of June. 12 saves, 21 strikeouts. And by the way, our friend Mike Claiborne watching on YouTube, Win was off last Friday or Saturday. So yeah. I was Rammer. I was at the lake at tournaments with you, so I guess I missed that day off for Mason.
Yeah, they've been giving him days for his low back maintenance. I think that's smart, and keeping that young man healthy in the lineup as much as you can, as close to 100% physically as you can. Nothing but good things will come of that for the ball club.
Cardinals and Pirates. It's a 5:40 start time tonight as Cardinals look to win their third game in a row and improve on the 4 games over 500 right now. Braves did lose last night, so as we kind of look at that, we're kind of watching the Braves and the Brewers right now. We're kind of watching both of those teams as we look to see who the Cardinals can catch next in the standings as they put themselves in a better and better playoff spot leading into the second half of the season. We will be back tomorrow with I guess it's an 4th of July edition of the show, if we're able to do one before the early start time of the game tomorrow. But if we do come your way tomorrow, we'll be brought to you, as always, by Munganast St. Louis Acura and Rammer Royal Banks.
Royal Banks in Missouri, where each and every branch feels like your hometown bank. And yeah, of course, we're talking about in the St. Louis area. But are you aware of the locations in Illinois, in Granite and Jerseyville, in St. Charles County, even in Northeast Missouri, in Center and New London and Hannibal? All feel like your hometown bank, and Royal Banks, for better service means better banking.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. Talk to you next time right here on Daily Cards Live.
Munganast St. Louis Acura is making room for the 2025 MDX, so that means great deals for you on the 2024 MDX. We have over 100 2024 MDX models in stock, and you get financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months. Or you can lease a new MDX for just $559 per month for 36 months. Or get the MDX technology model for just $589 per month for 36 months. Munganast St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.